Once upon a time, in a far-off kingdom, there lived a legendary hero named Robin Hood. Robin Hood was known for his bravery, skill, and sense of justice. He fought against injustice and helped the poor and needy. One day, Robin Hood met a beautiful woman named Maid Marian. They fell in love and were soon married, but their happiness was short-lived. The Sheriff of Nottingham was a cruel and evil man who hated Robin Hood. He wanted to take all of Robin's land and give it to himself. So he came up with a plan to get rid of Robin Hood. The sheriff went to the king and told him that Robin Hood was a traitor and had stolen a lot of money from the kingdom. The king was very angry and sent his best soldiers after Robin Hood, but they couldn't find him anywhere. Then the sheriff had an idea. He went to the king and said that Robin Hood was hiding out in Sherwood Forest. So the king gave the sheriff's men permission to go into the forest and do whatever they had to do to bring Robin Hood back. When Robin Hood heard that the sheriff was looking for him, he knew he had to go into hiding. He and his men went deep into Sherwood Forest and built a secret camp. For a while, Robin Hood and his men lived in the forest, hunting and gathering food. They also robbed the sheriff's men whenever they got the chance. One day, Robin Hood met a giant named Little John. Little John was a big and scary man, but he was also very kind-hearted. He joined Robin Hood and his men and became one of their best fighters. Together, Robin Hood and his men fought against the sheriff's men and won. The people of the kingdom were very happy to see that Robin Hood was alive and well. But the sheriff wasn't done yet. He went to the king and told him that Robin Hood had stolen even more money and that he was planning to take over the kingdom. The king didn't believe him, but he was willing to listen. The sheriff then told the king that if he didn't believe him, he could come with him to Sherwood Forest and see for himself. The king agreed, and the sheriff took him to a clearing where Robin Hood and his men were camped out. The king was furious and ordered his men to arrest Robin Hood. But before they could do anything, Little John stepped in and challenged the king's men to a fight. What happens next, you ask? Well, stay tuned to find out in part 2. It was the worst day of Robin Hood's life. His wife had just been taken away by the evil Prince John, who was the king's brother and wanted the throne for himself. Robin Hood and his men were hot on the trail of Prince John and his men, following them through the forest. Suddenly, they came across a clearing and saw Prince John's men beating up some villagers. Without hesitation, Robin Hood and his men jumped in to help. A fierce battle ensued, but in the end, Robin Hood and his men came out on top. The villagers were so grateful to Robin Hood for helping them that they offered him and his men food and drink. And that's when Robin Hood learned that Maid Marian had been taken to a castle in Nottingham. So Robin Hood and his men set off for Nottingham, where they planned to rescue Maid Marian from Prince John's clutches. What will happen next? Will Robin Hood be able to save Maid Marian from Prince John? Find out in part 3.